What's up, guys? Trainer Mike here for your Flex Friday workout on a Thursday. Sorry to throw off your schedules, but hey, we can get our flex on a Thursday too. Nothing wrong with that, right? And today we've got a brutal back session for you. So I threw it on my story. I said, hey, do you guys want to see back or do you want to see biceps? I'll be honest, I was kind of hoping that people would lean more towards back than they would towards arms. So I give back and arms as the option. Slight favor to arms, so I thought, hey, best of both worlds, let's do a back workout and let's throw in some biceps at the end of it. So we're also gonna do some BFR biceps. So we get a lot of questions about the blood flow restriction, so we're gonna answer those today. So we're still getting our warm up on. We're starting off with deadlifts. Usually on a back day, I like to start with deadlifts or like a T-bar row, some kind of bent over row. Today we're gonna start with deadlifts. We're not gonna kill ourselves because we got a whole back workout and then some biceps too. So typically, starting a back workout with deadlifts, we're not gonna go to failure. We're not gonna go uber heavy because we got a lot of parts of the back that we wanna target and we don't wanna burn out on deadlifts. So we're gonna go with 4 sets of 10. This is our last warm-up set here. So we started with 1 plate on each side. Now we went to 2 plates on each side. We're gonna do 1 more warm-up set and then load the plates on for our working sets, 4 sets of 10. Probably sit about 315 there. So last warm-up set, here we go. Good question. Facebook wants to know, finish with deadlifts instead of starting with deadlifts. I would say, typically, for your workouts, you're gonna wanna start with your more advanced, more compound, heavier movements. The reason behind that is typically at the beginning of a workout, if you're working out how you should, you have more energy than at the end of your workout. And this is a movement that can easily be done wrong. It's a high risk of injury movement. So if I wait until the end of a workout to do deadlifts when I'm super fatigued, the risk of injury goes up.
What's your opinion on Smith machine deadlifts when there's no free weight barbell available?
My opinion on Smith machine deadlifts, Smith machine and deadlifts should probably never belong in the same sentence. That said, if you have nothing else available, better than nothing, but not a big fan. Different alternative, I would even choose, a hex bar deadlift or trap bar deadlift, or even probably dumbbell deadlifts before I went to Smith machine. Me personally, I'm probably not gonna be caught dead doing deadlifts in a Smith rack, but that's just me. Today I've got the orange cranberry, I believe, Dimetize all 9. So I've been trying out all the flavors. And this is the cranberry one. So Dimetize all 9. It's our new essential amino acid complex. I've got 1 scoop in there. And the reason behind that is today, back workout, maybe finish with some cardio. High intensity. I want the essential amino acids as compared to the branch chain amino acids for this one. Okay, first working set, 4 sets of 10. We're going double overhand grip with straps. Here we go. Let's get this back working. Having this terrible deja vu. For those of you who watched last week, we started off some deadlifts in the same spot at the beginning of a brutal workout. That ended up hurting me for a couple days, so maybe it'll happen again. Luke on Facebook, tips for gaining muscle as a high schooler. focus more on your nutrition and on your compound movements in the gym. So, you know, when you're building your base, your deadlifts, your squats, your bench press, your overhead press, your pull-ups should all be staples in your routine. And I would even say, as a high schooler, you're doing full body or like an upper lower split.
Is it better to train biceps and triceps together or on separate days?
Is it better to train biceps and triceps together or on separate days? I don't think that it matters a whole lot. Sometimes it's fun just to have an arm day, but most people don't have the time in their lifting schedule to designate an entire day to arms. Whew. Nice thing about deadlifts, working the heart rate up, giving you some good cardio as we go throughout this as well. So second set, 10 reps deadlifts. I like strapping up so I can go double overhand. You go double overhand, take some tension off the biceps. You know, you start going heavy on biceps with an alternating grip, heavy on deadlifts with an alternating grip, you increase the risk of a biceps injury. All right, 10 reps. Whew. It'll take the life right out of you. I'm actually wearing my heart rate monitor again today. You guys that watch a lot know that I like to wear a heart rate monitor when I train. I'm gonna see where my effort's at right now, because that gets the heart rate up. Now, I'm not stopping at the bottom of every rep here like we did last week, but I'm trying not to bounce a lot either. So just a tap at the bottom and go. So I've got Versa grips today. You guys can get those on the site. They've got them. Maybe we'll put a link in the chat for you. But I love Versa grips. Super easy to get in and out of the lift, and definitely help you to focus more on the back without having to be concerned with your grip. So our deadlift's better, higher volume or lower reps, a combination. Guys, if you want strength and size, try following an undulating routine where you focus on, you know, one day, maybe you go lighter weight, higher reps, then the next time around, a little heavier weight for lower reps.
What is the best exercise to finish a back workout, and should you do one with full range of motion?
Best exercise to finish a back workout, and should you do it with full range of motion? I really like straight arm pull downs, and we're actually gonna do some of those today to finish a back workout, and I would say yes, full range of motion. Definitely big stretch, big contraction. All right guys, third set, going down here, deadlifts. Takes a long time to catch your breath on these, about 90 to 120 seconds rest on deadlifts. 10 reps, tap and go. Definitely feel hamstrings, glutes, whole posterior chain fired up when we do deadlifts.
A lot of comments on different variations of deadlifts you can do. So what about tap and go deadlifts? What's the alternative?
So tap and go deadlifts, I'm not stopping and resetting at the bottom of every lift. If I were going a little heavier, I would probably stop and reset every time. Benefits to stopping at the bottom of a lift: you have to re-engage those muscles every single rep, whereas here there's a little momentum. Again, it's a back workout, Our focus is not necessarily on going as heavy as possible. I'm not going to failure here. I could probably have 4 plates on and do 4 sets of 10, and then I'm going to be toast for the rest of the workout.
What's the difference between sumo and traditional?
So sumo deadlifts are going to target more of hamstrings, glutes, adductors, okay? A little more focus on the legs, whereas your traditional deadlift, a little more focus on spinal erectors, which are that lower portion of the back, mid portion of the back.
If you could only choose one exercise for the rest of your life for your lats, what would it be?
One exercise for the rest of your life for your lats, what would it be? Pull-ups. Simple. Pull-ups are a great exercise, and that would be a good one. All right, one more set here. 10 reps. Try and make some noise for the people upstairs trying to get work done. Here we go. Last set, best set, baby. Woo! Whew. Our back is officially warmed up and ready to go. Taking the breath out of you. You release a lot of those good hormones when you start a workout with a compound lift like deadlifts. Get the testosterone and the growth hormone going.
Facebook, Patrick, when is the most appropriate time to start utilizing the belt?
So Patrick asked, when do you start utilizing a belt? Good question. For me, I'll use a belt on squats or deadlifts if I'm 6 reps or under, okay? 10 reps doesn't really make sense for me. I'm not creating enough pressure to where I need to be concerned with that. Okay, lat pull down next, 4 sets of 10. We'll do that guy right here. Now there's a number of different bars that you can use. They've got this one called the mag bar here. It's a pretty cool attachment. If you guys don't have that, do your regular bar, that's fine. But our focus here is 4 sets of 10 with really, really good stretch at the top. And then we're gonna come down. Now, a lot of times on lat pull downs, you know, people ask the question, why don't you come all the way down to the chest? So I'm going to answer that right now. There's really no benefit in the additional elbow flexion coming all the way down to the chest. We're trying to bring the bar to about nose, mouth, chin area in order to fully contract our lats. Here we go. Here we go, 10 reps. The most important thing on a lat pull down is the stretch at the top. And in my experience, that's where most people go wrong, is they don't get a good enough stretch at the top of their lat pull down.
Brandon on Facebook asked, is it okay to incorporate deadlifts day after leg day?
Can you do deadlifts the day after leg day? You can. Ideally, I'd like to separate those by at least 48 hours. They're both going to put a lot of pressure on your lower back and legs. So if you can, like I did legs on Monday, I like the break from Monday to Thursday.
Do you have any good back stretches or lat stretches?
Good back stretches, yes. Guys, one of the easiest ones you can do is just grab onto a bar and lean back, put your head down to let the lat stretch. But also during your reps, make sure that you're getting a good stretch in with each and every rep that you perform. Okay, second set of 10, here we go. Whew. Really like that bar, that mag bar. If you guys have a chance to try one of these out, just gives a little different feel as opposed to your regular bar. A little more of a neutral grip here as opposed to your traditional overhand.
Give me tips for drinking more water. I struggle with drinking more than a gallon.
Okay, so you're having some struggles drinking more water. One, try adding some kind of water flavoring, okay? For some people, that's just putting a scoop of aminos in your gallon jug, maybe a couple scoops. Aminos taste so good now. Find one that you really like to help you drink more water. Two, make sure you're getting enough sodium in, okay? Sodium's important. And if you're too low on sodium, then it's gonna make it hard to drink enough water. Not only hard, but it's unhealthy to drink a lot of water if your sodium's too low.
What's the difference between overhand and underhand?
Difference between overhand and underhand, we're gonna get a little more trap involvement when we go overhand. We're gonna get a little more biceps involvement when we come underhand. Traditionally, you're gonna see a little better lat development with an overhand as compared to an underhand. And after all, it is a lat pull down, so they both have their place, but we're trying to target lats here. Here we go. So it gets really easy as that weight gets harder and heavier to maybe not go full range of motion. But when we don't get a full stretch at the top, we're never really getting our lats involved. So the lat involvement comes right here, full stretch to about right there. Any more and it's mostly biceps, but that lat doesn't get involved if we're not letting that shoulder blade come in and out. And that's an important part of this.
Are there any alternatives for lat pull downs if they don't have a pull down machine or a pull up bar?
Any alternatives to lat pull downs if you don't have a pull up machine or a pull up bar? Makes it pretty hard. There's a lot of stuff you can do on cables, maybe kneeling down. We're just trying to find that same angle where maybe we're coming from above the head down towards the lats. You can find something. It just might take you getting a little creative. Dumbbell pullovers are something that are a kind of close alternative, and we'll do those today as well.
How much protein should I eat during the day?
How much protein to consume during the day? I recommend a minimum of 1 gram per pound of lean body mass, meaning go get your body fat taken. For every pound of lean mass, that's your minimum, up to 1.5 grams per pound of lean mass. Okay, 10 reps. Final set, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, woo! Definitely got a little hard there, but that's okay. That last set is the one where we probably should be hitting failure on if we didn't during the first 3. So next up, we're going with the single arm row. You guys, you can do this on an incline or on a flat bench. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. You can do it on a decline bench if you want. There's a lot of different ways to target the row for a single arm. Today we'll just do it kind of on a flat bench, kneeling. Some people do it up against the dumbbells. Try not to be that person, okay? Then nobody else can get to the dumbbells. So take it back, maybe lean up against a bench or something. And for this guy, our rep range that we're shooting for, we're gonna go a little higher in the reps now, and we're gonna get into 3 sets of 15. Because we're going 15, we're only doing 3 sets as opposed to 4. And this is one that I used to gravitate towards the heaviest dumbbells I could possibly find. because I could get them up, but you're not getting a very good contraction. This is one you start throwing core, lower back into, and you really lose the whole contraction in the back if you're not careful.
What are your thoughts on doing pull downs behind the head?
Pull downs behind the head is pretty hard on the shoulders. There's a lot of danger there for maybe hitting a vertebrae and chipping it, which I've actually heard of people doing, something you don't want to happen. I just don't see a huge benefit to it as long as you're doing it right. That said, maybe if you want to go super light, super controlled, go for it. But absolutely, whatever you do, don't go super heavy and go behind the neck. Okay, 15 reps. Here we go. You can keep your heart rate up here because we don't have to rest as long in between sets. Go right over to your other side. Now I'm not kidding when I say I do half the weight now of what I used to do on these, but it's a much cleaner rep and I actually feel it a lot more in my mid back as opposed to my traps and my biceps.
So because blood is so important for muscle growth, does restricting blood flow hurt?
Aha, good question. Good question. So if blood flow is so important to muscle growth, wouldn't restricting it inhibit muscle growth? Good question, but not exactly. The nice thing about BFR is it allows you to build more volume of blood for a short period of time. So while the blood may not be flowing, what we're doing is we're occluding that blood to a certain area, which can actually help to drive even more oxygen, nutrients to the blood over time. Great question. And that's why you don't do it all the time, guys. It's not something to do every workout, every day, but occasionally, for short periods of time, it's got a purpose. Okay, 15 reps. Definitely starts off feeling easy, but as you control the weight and work the reps, it gets pretty challenging. I'm trying to row back a little bit too to try and engage more of the lats. Nice thing about dumbbells too is you can work both sides equally. Like I'll notice left side is actually a lot weaker than my right side. So here I know that I'm getting an equal amount of work for the right and the left side.
Why do I see most people in the gym choose super heavy dumbbells for dumbbell rows?
Why do you see most people in the gym choose super heavy dumbbells for dumbbell rows? Because they're like me in my younger years and you lift with your ego. Because you can move a lot of weight up and down with a single arm dumbbell row, but It all depends on what you want to target. You know, if you want to target those lats and mid-back really well, you got to choose a weight you can control, because there's so many other muscle groups that can get involved here, and it'll take away from the muscles you're really trying to target.
Dumbbell pullovers, effective for back or chest?
Dumbbell pullovers for back or chest? Great question. Both. It's going to help target the lats, the serratus, and the chest. So we have those today. I don't include them a lot on back day, but occasionally I will. You get a really good stretch and a good contraction with your lats when they're done properly. All right, here we go. Third set, 15 reps. Definitely feel the heart rate rise. A lot of muscle groups going here on a back day. If you do like carb cycling, back's a good day to go maybe higher in carbs because you're going to use more energy. So there's definitely exercises to go heavy on, and there's exercises to maybe go a little lighter on. I prefer to go heavier on my compound movements like deadlift, squats, overhead press, bench press, and save these like single arm movements for your lighter weights.
Would it be possible and even practical to row both arms like this, but simultaneously?
Okay, is it possible or practical to pull both arms simultaneously in a move like this? You can, and I would even say there's some benefits to it. Not on this bench. You can maybe do it on an incline, and it's just good to throw that variety in there. Sometimes you might go single arm, you're gonna get a little different muscles involved, where if you went double arm. I always try to, think of rows too as something where we go, some chest supported rows and some non-chest supported rows like this. So we're gonna go right into dumbbell pullovers, and we're gonna go 3 sets of 15 reps here, trying to target more of the lats. Again, this is another movement where I would encourage you to go a little lighter on and try to make it as challenging as possible. There's a lot of risk of injury with a dumbbell pullover if you do it wrong and you try going heavier than you should. So we're gonna go with 60 pounds, probably a little light, but I'm gonna challenge myself to see if we can get a great stretch and great contraction. I'm gonna put my head just beyond the bench so I can allow for some of that cervical extension that I want here. Big stretch. Again, when you get into the 15 rep range, your first few reps are gonna feel really light, but don't let that deter you from staying at the weight that you should, because as we controlled the reps by about 10, 11, 12, it got really challenging, and it allowed me to continue to focus on the quality of reps rather than the amount of weight that I was doing.
Great point on the head positioning. I've been doing them wrong.
Yeah, the head positioning is big here, guys. If you don't allow a little room for some of that extension of the cervical spine there, it can put you in a position where you really hurt your neck doing this kind of movement.
Do you ever do dumbbell back flies?
Do I?
Rear delt.
Yeah, dumbbell back flies for rear delts. I do those. I typically throw my rear delts in on my shoulder day, just because I have a little more time and it feels like a little more room in the schedule to do them on that day as opposed to back day. All right, second set. We're gonna keep the weight here and we'll get really good reps out. Head goes a little back again so we can have a little bit of that extension there. We're not coming all the way up to the sternum, just over our face. Let gravity work. Trained abs yesterday and my abs are sore, and as you come back you really feel that stretch in your midsection, and if your abs are sore you'll feel it on this guy. You actually get some decent amount of ab work in doing the dumbbell pullover.
Can you have a six-pack all year round and still grow muscle?
Can you have a six-pack all year round and still grow muscle? For most people I would say yes, okay? It's not necessary. Most people are gonna have a six-pack at about 10% or less body fat. And I never recommend somebody go over 13% as a guy in order to gain muscle. It's a good question. A lot of people think you do, and it's just an excuse. You know, I used to be under the impression that I had to eat and gain a ton of fat to gain muscle. Well, the problem with that is then you have to cut. And you gotta put yourself in a big calorie deficit and do a lot of cardio, which is also detrimental to maintaining muscle. So maybe you gain some extra muscle, and then you lose it trying to take off the extra fat.
Have you missed blood flow restriction training yet?
You have not missed the blood flow restriction training. That's coming up after we get done with our back movements. So we got this, fun little superset after this, and then we're gonna get on to biceps. Would you guys quit talking so I get to work here? Come on, we'll get the blood flow. It got tough and I'm sweating. You guys know me, it takes a lot to sweat. The headband of gains, it actually plays a very practical and functional purpose on a workout like this back workout. Okay, we're gonna finish out back. And sometimes I like to finish off with a nice little superset. So we're gonna go straight arm pull down. We're gonna superset that with seated rows for 2 sets at 20. Really drive a lot of good blood and a lot of good volume into the muscle here. So we're just gonna switch off side by side here. I'm gonna do my lat straight arm pull downs here. Straight arm pull downs are one of those movements you can do in a lat pull down bar if you're tall enough. If you're maybe under 6 feet, you're gonna be better off going on a regular cable.
What are your thoughts on fat burners?
My thoughts on fat burners are, you should do everything you can through your nutrition first before taking a fat burner. I like incorporating a fat burner my last 6 to 8 weeks of a cut, but I'm gonna go 6 to 8 weeks first without one and just let my diet do the work. But they can be really handy towards the end of a cut, no doubt about it. Okay, 20 reps, which means we gotta pick a weight we can definitely work with here. Get a good contraction. We're popping right to seated rows after this. Following those pullovers, feel a lot of lat involvement there. I'm gonna switch out handles here, and I'm gonna go with a rope attachment. If you guys never try ropes for your seated rows, I'd encourage you to give that a try. Again, fairly lightweight. We're gonna come back for 20 rows here. Now we rest. Give yourself 60 to 90 seconds before popping into your last superset back here. How important is sleep? Whether you're trying to build muscle or burn body fat, sleep is huge, guys. Seriously, it doesn't matter if you have every other aspect of your training, diet, and lifestyle dialed in. If sleep is off and you're getting less than 6 hours on a consistent basis, you're not gonna build the kind of muscle or burn the kind of body fat that you need. Cortisol goes through the roof when you don't sleep enough. Great question.
Where is
The best burger I've ever eaten, hands down, 8 ounce in Seattle. The 8 ounce burger with their fries, maybe even get some of those gnarly tots they have too. But 8 ounce in Seattle. Still waiting on my sponsorship. If any of you guys want to maybe order some and send it to Boise, I'll still eat it. It's that good. Like, I would still eat it. If you shipped an 8 ounce burger to Boise, I would still eat it.
When should we get our protein? Before the workout, after the workout, during the workout?
Good question. When should you get your protein? Before the workout, during workout, after the workout? You definitely want a high protein meal anywhere between 30 and 90 minutes before your workout. And then you want some high protein immediately following your workout. I'd like to say within about 30 minutes. Okay, 20 reps. Last set of back here, superset. Man, those high reps have a feeling like cardio. It's getting the heart rate up. Start getting a lot of breathing going. 20 reps. All right. 8, 9, That's it, guys. Back is done. But now we're gonna move on to biceps. Now, we don't need the same volume on biceps as we would if we just had its whole day to itself, because we've already pre-exhausted them through our back movement. So a little less volume. We're still gonna get a good biceps workout in here. Can you do this workout as a circuit? I wouldn't recommend it. And the reason why is because you're gonna have problem focusing on the kind of, quality of reps, quality of sets, if you are too exhausted and your heart rate's too high from moving from exercise to exercise. So we're gonna do my favorite bicep exercise first. So when you do BFR, typically we wanna try and do one exercise without blood flow restriction and then one exercise with blood flow restriction. So we're gonna start with an incline dumbbell curl for 4 sets of 10. And I love this exercise. I think it's great for getting a good stretch in, which is really hard to get a really quality stretch in for most people on biceps. And this is just a great exercise to allow you to do it. Don't go too heavy here. We're gonna start off probably 30 pounds for a really good stretch. It allows you to let the arm hang and you get a better contraction because you're getting a better stretch than you would on just a traditional biceps curl. All the way down, flex the tricep at the bottom. There's 10 reps, maybe could have gone a little heavier, but these isolation movements are not the exercises where you want to try and go super, super heavy on. Which doesn't make sense. We're gonna get a lot more benefit if we pick a weight we can control and focus on that good quality range of motion.
How much protein should we take in post-workout?
How much protein post-workout? The studies show that a minimum of 25 up to 40, So if you're maybe a lighter female, 20, 25 grams, do the trick for you. If you're a male, 200 plus pounds, I'd shoot for 40. There's really no downside to getting 40 in. Maybe and that being said, the more intense the workout, the more your body can absorb following a workout as well.
Do you rotate the dumbbell at the bottom?
I don't rotate the dumbbell a lot at the bottom. Naturally, I think it turns a little, but ideally I want to keep my arm open so I can get a really good stretch on the biceps there as I come down. It's another one that starts off feeling pretty light, and then as you get going, it gets harder and harder as the reps go.
Anderson on Facebook asks, is there any difference if you put your head back and rest against the seat?
Anderson wants to know, is there any difference if you put your head against the seat? I probably should put my head against the seat. I would say that's probably the more proper position, but then I can't see the gains that are happening in the mirror quite as well. So I'm gonna sacrifice my perfect positioning just so I can see what's happening in the mirror.
What are your thoughts on seated barbell curls?
Seated barbell curls. I think they're interesting to throw in occasionally, but I don't love them. I think it's really hard to get a good biceps contraction without getting a lot of traps involved for that exercise. So I might throw them in for fun every now and again, but they're definitely not a regular in my routine. All right, third set. Whew, we got to go down for our last set. And this is one where check your ego at the door, because you might end up with a weight that's far lighter than what you'd like to admit you're doing.
What would be a good mass gainer for a hard gainer?
Good mass gainer for a hard gainer. You know, you're looking for something that's high in protein, high in carbs, and a decent amount of fat. My rule of thumb for mass gainers are try to get the amount of calories, carbs, protein, fat that you need through food alone. And if you can't, then incorporate a mass gainer. But honestly, a mass gainer is not my first choice for people. I think it's kind of a last resort if you're having a challenging time. Always include a whey protein into your routine, but you know, mass gainers, if as needed, I would say. You know, you start getting into, you know, you want to teach your body, you want to learn how to get food as your primary source of nutrition and use supplements just as that to supplement what you cannot get through food alone.
I feel all the tension in my shoulders when I do this exercise. How can I stop that?
If you feel tension in your shoulders, lighten the weight, roll your shoulders back, and focus on that full contraction. If you start moving the shoulders too much as you do it, you'll start feeling it in more your shoulders and even chest. Okay, final set of 10, and then we're on to BFR. Whew. All right, guys. Now, what y'all want to know, how to get that crazy good BFR pump in. And so we're going to go next to our blood flow restriction training. And the way this works is we're going to do 4 sets. First set's going to be 30 reps. It's really intended to drive blood flow into the muscle. We're going to take 30 seconds rest, and we're going to do 3 more sets of 15. And by the end of that last set, our biceps are going to be throbbing, and we're going to take the BFR straps off, rest for a minute, and repeat that same thing for one more cluster, as we call it. A cluster being, you know, the 4 sets that we do with the occlusion straps wrapped around our arms. So, with that, I get these like off of eBay or Amazon. They're medical turn kits that you can search for on there. There are, you know, official BFR straps that you can buy that are 60 or 70 bucks. I've tried them. I don't even like them as much as these. These were $5 for a set of 3 on eBay. So with that being said, there's definitely a lot of options, but we want to find something that we can restrict that blood flow with. Shouldn't be extremely painful, but we definitely want to restrict the blood flow. So there we go, that feels good. We're picking a light weight here. The benefit to BFR is we can do a much lighter weight than we normally would and see similar results in a shorter period of time. So we're gonna go here for 30 reps and then 3 sets of 15 immediately after that. Watching the clock. Time is very important here. 30 seconds, catch your breath. We don't want to keep our arms wrapped up any longer than we have to.
How tight should
They should be, how tight should they be? If I had to put a scale, numbered scale on it, I would say 8 discomfort level. 10 being extremely discomfort, just extreme discomfort. 8 being mildly uncomfortable. Excuse me. All right, 30 seconds is up. 15 reps, same weight. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, watching the clock, 30 seconds. Whew, it's getting really uncomfortable. As you guys can tell, vascularity starts coming in really good. We start seeing the veins pop through. The pump is real. So we're gonna give it 30 seconds. We got 2 more sets of 15 here. If you guys get a good pre-workout in, got nutrition on point, you're gonna start feeling a wicked pump right now. Whew. All right, guys, 5 more seconds. We're gonna kick off our next set. 2 more sets, 15 reps here. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 40. Watching the clock, 30 seconds.
Do you always take pre-workout?
I always take pre-workout. That said, some days I'll go a lower caffeine pre-workout, focus more on just getting some ingredients that give a good pump in. And then days like back or legs, you know, a day like today, definitely, I'm putting in the high caffeine, like my dimetized Pre-Wo for today's workout. Okay, final set of 15, and then we get a little relief. 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 30. Okay, unstrap for just a bit here. Give about a minute break, and then we're gonna do 1 more cluster.
Is there a risk of passing out?
Is there a risk of passing out doing BFR? Yeah, I think there's a risk of passing out doing anything. But the most important thing is that you keep your breathing right, you know. Restricting blood flow in my arms is not gonna cause me to pass out, but breathing improperly would.
Is there research behind this training?
Yes, there is research behind this training. And what the research tells us, it's not more beneficial than regular resistance training, but you can get a similar amount of stimulus in less time with less weight. So if you're working around an injury or a tight schedule, BFR can be for you. If you've got all the time in the world, you don't need to do BFR, to be quite honest. But for those days where you're really tight on your schedule and you want to get some arm work in and you don't have 25, 30 minutes to dedicate to it, it can be pretty beneficial. Okay, same thing here. 30 reps and then 3 sets of 15 to finish these guys off. Here we go. 5, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, we only got 25 reps there. It's getting really hard. The restricted blood flow definitely inhibits your ability to lift as much weight as you normally would. The pump gets almost painful to the point where it's just hard to move your arms. Thoughts on drop sets? Drop sets are great. I would include them sometimes, not all the time. Towards the end of a workout, they can be a really good way to force some extra glycogen out and finish your arms off. 30 seconds is up. Let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. If you guys haven't tried BFR before, start mild, maybe just do one cluster, see how it feels. And again, you don't have to do it. You know, it's one of those things I see a lot of people doing wrong. You don't keep your BFR straps on the whole workout. It's for a short period of time, get a cluster of sets in and take them off.
Does this work for skinny guys?
Does this work for skinny guys? Absolutely. It works for skinny guys. Skinny guys, not skinny guys, gals, everybody. It's good for in the right place. Next set, 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Little break, and then we got one more set. Good supplement for the pump. Look for something that's, you know, my favorite pump products are definitely going to be citrulline. Look for about 8 grams of citrulline. An inositol stabilized arginine is definitely good for pump. Sometimes I'll look for something like you know, agmatine can be okay for that as well. Glycerol, some glycerol supplements can work well for pump as well. Primarily citrulline's the big one I look for. Okay, final set, 15 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Woo, there it is, guys. Back and BFR biceps. Try that workout. Let me know how you guys like it. Check me out on Instagram at TrainerMike1. That's my handle there. You guys can ask me questions there. Check me out on Facebook, athlete page at TrainerMike Physique. And as always, check me out on Bodybuilding.com and Body Space Mr. Symmetry. Guys, thanks for tuning in today. We are wrapping it up. That is back and biceps, including some BFR. Checking out Flex Friday on a Thursday. Boom.